Today we'll be looking at an eclectic mix of mysterious and seemingly unexplainable videos that have made the rounds on YouTube and other video hosting platforms over the years, explaining the context and stories behind some truly enigmatic pieces of content. Let's begin. Conductor, we have a problem.
Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem.
On the internet, there exists a viral video colloquially referred to as Conductor, we have a problem. It features a seemingly panic-stricken train passenger repeatedly pressing the train car's emergency button in an attempt to contact the conductor, and apparently there was a problem.
Conductor, I have a problem.
You are the problem, man.
Conductor, I have a problem.
The scene is pure insanity. Despite no imminent danger seemingly present, he continues to repeat his mantra with palpable fear in his voice.
Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a fucking problem.
After pressing for some time, the hysterical man moves through the train in an effort to reach the second emergency button in the back of the car. Throughout his trek, the video reveals the rest of the train's now worried passengers, who can be seen issuing concerned glances towards the panicked guy. Some speak up and try to figure out what his deal is with little result.
Conductor, we have a problem. 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 Conductor, we have a problem.
When he reaches the second emergency button, he begins pressing even more feverishly than before, and for the first time in the video shouts out something that gave a bit of insight into his bizarre behavior.
Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, it doesn't matter. Can you imagine somebody shooting this shit up and you had a problem?
It kind of seemed like maybe he was trying to prove some sort of point here, like, hey, the fucking conductor doesn't respond, this emergency thing is useless. Whatever the case, people were freaked out and they weren't taking any chances. A worried rider then asked the man if he had a gun on him, which causes the guy to erupt, pushing the questioner off of him and yelling expletives.
Can you imagine somebody shooting this shit up and you had a problem?
You got a gun on you?
Get off of me, you motherfucker!
Given his erratic state and mention of the word gun, everyone on this train starts freaking out, and some openly accused Conductor, we have a problem guy of having a gun, like he's some kind of unhinged psycho that's about to shoot up the train. And I can't blame them for coming to this conclusion. All hell breaks loose.
You got a gun on you?
Get off of me, you motherfucker!
Hey, back it up.
You have a gun? I don't.
Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem.
So get off the train now. If you got a problem, get off the train now.
By this point, a group of men on the train are demanding Conductor, we have a problem guy to get off. He does his best to ignore them and continues pressing the button, repeating his signature phrase, until he seems to be physically restrained by these passengers.
Purple plantain, get the fuck out.
Conductor, I have a problem. Conductor, I have a problem. Conductor, I have a problem. Conductor, I have a problem.
You are the problem, man.
Conductor, I have a problem. Push emergency to stop. Conductor, I have a problem. Conductor, I have a problem. Conductor, I have a problem. Conductor, I have a problem.
While being pried from the emergency button, Conductor, we have a problem guy yells louder and louder to no avail, as the group of concerned citizens attempt to corral him off the train. The video ends with one of the men covering his phone and everything goes to black.
You're the problem, my friend.
They're holding the door.
Get the fuck
They're
out.
holding the door.
Come on, baby. Come on. Not the fight. Don't fight. Don't go on this level. Don't go on.
I have a problem. The problem I have. The problem I have.
This insane video has been shared around the internet for close to 10 years now. It has intrigued people not just because of what's shown in the video and the memeable "Conductor, we have a problem" catchphrase, but also for the questions that remain about what isn't shown in the video. It's a situation where us as viewers are just kind of plopped into this out of context scenario with no real knowledge of what led up to this guy's freakout and what took place after the fact. I mean, from the video itself, all that can really be taken is that there was a potentially mentally unstable person on this train and that his actions could have been a misguided stunt to show how the emergency button on the train was useless. You know, with him mentioning, what if someone had a gun, and him pressing the button proving that nobody would respond. Whatever the case, Conductor We Have a Problem has become in many ways an internet mystery. But don't fret, as I've collected a handful of archival information surrounding this video, and thankfully can explain its seemingly unexplainable nature. The true origins of this video have become increasingly difficult to ascertain over the years, as the original version of it was either deleted or privated shortly after it was published by the uploader. However, after doing a bit of digging, I've managed to discover the original source of it, that being an individual named Steve Clark. Not much is known about this man's backstory, but he operates a small YouTube channel of the same name. Taking a look at his channel, you'll find the man has posted various short clips of happenings that he has captured while out and about. And given some of his video titles, it appears he lives somewhere near the Washington, D.C. area. Seems to check out, as Washington, D.C. does in fact have a metro train system. Steve originally posted his infamous Conductor We Have a Problem video to this channel in December of 2015, and its original title confirms that it was recorded in the Washington, D.C. metro train. The title of his video also lends credence to the idea that this wild behavior was some sort of protest. That title being, "See Something, Say Something, It Does No Good, DC Metro." An excerpt of the description under Steve's video provides even more context into his actions, with this description seemingly explaining that he was pressing the button because he felt threatened. Quote, "No response from the WMATA emergency call box when another rider, the man in the yellow Whole Foods shirt at 52 seconds in the video, pretended to reach for a gun. Anyone that knows this man, please come forward."
Conductor, we have a problem.
Sir.
Conductor, we have a problem.
When I tried to call the conductor using the emergency call box, no action was taken by WMATA. How many times does someone in need to press this damn button? What the hell does the button do? Does opening the door help? Ultimately, the other riders tried to get me off the train. Then a guy, the African-American gentleman with the hoodie and gloves seen at 38 seconds, grabbed my phone from my hand and stepped off the train. So reading this description, it appears as if this is simultaneously a case of Steve genuinely being fearful of danger, and also it was an unhinged way of exposing the metro system's poor emergency response. As far as I'm aware though, nobody on the train actually had a gun, and it would be fair to say that Steve was completely out of line here. If you scour the web, you can also find local news reports that give details which help shed more light on the bizarre incident and what took place after the fact. Local DC area news station USA 9 News got in contact with metro authorities, who would go on to clarify that the incident occurred on a yellow line train headed towards the La Enfant Plaza in Washington, D.C. They also reported that after the incident, when the metro train stopped at its next location, a group of Metro Transit police and medics were present to assess Conductor We Have a Problem guy and investigate the situation as a whole. A Metro spokesperson also confirmed that there was never a threat to the train and no injuries were reported. As for any formal charges against Steve Clark, the man never appeared to have faced any consequence, which I think was the right choice from authorities here. I mean, after all, I think it would be kind of a stretch to call what he did illegal. I mean, if he really did feel threatened, he had the right to press that button regardless of how extra he was about the entire process. Steve hasn't posted any new videos to his channel since this incident. And as far as I'm aware, it appears he lives a relatively normal life these days, working as a driver of some sort. It's impossible to say exactly why he felt compelled to showcase the metro system emergency button failure in the way that he did, but needless to say, Conductor We Have a Problem guy will be remembered for many years to come. The watermelon video. Over the last several years, a truly baffling video has been circulating around the internet, which appears to show a man sleeping in a flooded room and involves a watermelon rolling off of his bed into the water. The most popular YouTube version of this video was uploaded in 2021 and has accumulated over 17 million views. In the description, the uploader writes, "I don't have an explanation for this surreal art piece." Surreal art piece is a great way to describe this video. I like to think of this as the video version of this viral picture. You know, the one where it's like impossible to discern what any of the objects in it are. It really just fucks with your brain. Like, what the hell is actually going on in this video, and where did it come from? What does the watermelon mean? Many have shared their befuddlement with it in comment sections across the web, cracking jokes and trying to explain it. People theorize that this was some sort of house flood and the video showcased the aftermath. Maybe a house flooded and they wanted to make a joke out of it. Others made reference to that scene in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas where Johnny Depp wakes up on a bed floating in water. One commenter on YouTube highlights the challenge of understanding what exactly is going on here. 6 seconds of information, 15+ minutes of processing. While most online discussion regarding the watermelon flood video have been fruitless, Redditors have levied some interesting theories as to exactly what is happening in it. They believed it could have been a fisherman with a surreal sense of humor. In a thread talking about the video, a user wrote, "The complete solution to what is happening in this video. The man in this video is in some sort of fishing hut on a dock. Fishing rod in background supports this. The watermelon is in the bed, as it is a dry surface and where insects cannot reach it since it's under the sheets. The log has a water bottle attached to it, which was dripping empty until it can't hold the log back, forming a makeshift alarm clock. The camera was on because he wanted to show his alarm clock invention to the world. The dog food and apples are there to attract fish." And yes, it's a great theory indeed. Instead of this being someone's house that was flooded, it could have simply been a fishing hut built over water. And I just want to pause and acknowledge how much of a dumbass I've been, because all these years I thought that the apples floating in the water were like waterlogged donuts. But yeah, it's fruit and fish bait. So you gotta admit the Redditor's theory does make sense. So perhaps we had a cheeky fisherman here who knew how bizarre his work environment would look to those in the outside world and filmed a clip of his daily grind, threw a watermelon in there for some extra seasoning, and baked up a viral video. His observations check out, but what is the original source of this video? And if we found it, could that give any extra context? Well, thanks to a keen Redditor, the original source of this video has actually been archived. Turns out it comes from a TikToker living in a fishing hut somewhere in Southeast Asia. In a comment from the subreddit r/blurstimages, a Redditor chimed in to a thread that was discussing the watermelon hut video, seemingly providing an answer to the question of who was the original poster. Quote, "It's a fishing town. He's just showing a weird angle of his bedside setup." And then this poster left a link to a TikTok account. The TikTok link posted by the Redditor showcased a man in a similar setup to the watermelon hut video. You got a guy sleeping over some water, that water being filled with fish food. You got a fishing pole set up on his side, and he's asleep. And if you look close enough, you can see similarities in the structure of the room and the bed to the watermelon video. You got the same mattress cover, the same wall color. The power outlet is in the same location, above the bed. Yeah, it's the same fishing hut and the same guy, that user being WD008. WD008 has posted many strange fishing videos like this to TikTok, with the man sleeping on a bed and ejecting fruit from it into a pond below. The guy seemingly documenting his life in a fishing village. Fishing villages that feature fishing huts like this are common throughout Southeast Asia. And while I'm not certain as to exactly what country WD is from, some online have speculated that the fishing village that WD is in is of Chinese origin. WD008 first began posting to TikTok in February of 2021. And a few weeks later, he started uploading videos very much akin to the watermelon one, though no fruit was involved initially. Later in the month, fruit starts joining the picture, and well, that's how we get to the iconic watermelon video, and history is made. The watermelon video itself was posted to WD008 on February 17th, 2021. Curiously enough, it only has about 14,000 views, which is unfortunate for the TikToker, as re-uploads of the clip have since garnered millions of views on other platforms. Whatever the case, hopefully now you have a better understanding of this absurd video. It wasn't the aftermath of a flood or an avant-garde viral project. It was simply the work of a fisherman sharing a glimpse of his day-to-day work with the internet, albeit with a fruity twist. So while we're here explaining the seemingly unexplainable, have you ever wondered how spam callers get your phone number or how sketchy promotions end up in your email inbox? You have data brokers to thank for that. Right now, your full name, home address, phone number, email, and date of birth is likely floating around on the web thanks to these data brokers, which is potentially dangerous and a privacy issue that you should address. Today's sponsor, Incogni, does all the hard work for you, tracking down the data brokers who have your info online and submitting information removal requests on your behalf. Now, I was shocked to find out just how many data brokers had been peddling my information. Incogni indicated 245 instances of my personally identifying info being on the web, and they sent requests to take down each occurrence. Within a few days, Incogni managed to get my personally identifying information off the internet for good, and many of the brokers were compelled to add me to a suppression list, meaning that they wouldn't be able to get my data in the future. Incogni has been big for me personally, as over the last few months, I've been having massive issues with robocallers on my cell phone. I couldn't figure out where the fuck these guys were getting my number from. Well, ever since partnering up with Incogni, these robocalls have ceased. Apparently there was some broker out there that had my number and was sharing it around. So with all of that explained, it's time to take back your personal data with Incogni. Use code WavyWebSurf at the link below to get 60% off an annual plan. That's incogni.com/WavyWebSurf. The Jewish tunnels. On both YouTube and Twitter, several clips have gone viral, showcasing what have become known as New York's Jewish tunnels. There's been some pretty hilarious discourse around these tunnels, and the videos that come along with that are absurd, to say the least. But what is the story behind these tunnels, and what happened after they were discovered en masse in early 2024? Located at 770 Eastern Parkway in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, is the world headquarters of the Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic Jewish movement. It's an important community hub for the Hasidic Jews within New York. But the building itself isn't what we're interested in, it's actually what lies beneath it. In early 2024, while conducting routine repairs underneath the building, construction workers who were digging and installing new pipes inadvertently broke into what they found to be a 60-foot-long tunnel located underneath the building. It would later be revealed that this subterranean passageway had been illegally tunneled through by Israeli students, digging these tunnels to have quicker access to buildings that neighbored the headquarters and also to have a quick escape back to the New York streets, with them cutting a hole through a ground floor grate, allowing them to have access to the sidewalk. So what is the meaning of all of this? According to the New York Post, the tunnel origins go back as far as 1994, and their creation has been described as a misunderstanding of sorts. Back in the 90s, a rabbi who was a part of this Hasidic Jewish headquarters, a man named Menachem Schneerson, was seen as a messiah by many within his sect. At some point, the rabbi apparently expressed the need for the headquarter grounds to be expanded so that more students and worshipers could practice there. Now, it's thought that he meant that they should try to get more property, but the students of the sect took what he said a little bit too far and actually started expanding the building's grounds by literally digging underground, digging chambers and tunnels to expand the property, which, in case if you didn't know, was definitely illegal. On January 8th, 2024, after the tunnels had been discovered, those in charge of the building dispatched a group of construction workers who were sent there with cement trucks in order to fill in the tunnels. However, the workers were met with protest when 5 Israeli students jumped into the hole and refused to leave. Authorities then became involved, and multiple skirmishes broke out within the sanctuary as property was destroyed. Reports claim that New York police officers were forced to use pepper spray in order to subdue the large group of Hasidic Jews who had grown irate at the police's attempts to restrain them. In the aftermath, it was found that the tunnels caused structural damage to bordering buildings, and the area was closed off momentarily so investigators could assess what to do next and determine how bad the damage was. While this was going on, none of the Hasidic Jewish community was allowed back into their headquarters. A spokesman from the headquarters/synagogue described those responsible for the tunneling to be radicalists from a fringe group within the movement and expressed anguish over the synagogue's closure. Quote, "We pray that they see the error of their ways and they make amends for the harm they caused. Violence and destruction are anathema to everything the rabbi taught. Overall, 9 synagogue members were arrested and a total of 13 were arraigned. Many of the charges included criminal mischief, felony reckless endangerment, and obstruction of governmental administration. On April 10th of 2024, the defendants pled not guilty in Brooklyn's King County Supreme Court. A lawyer defending one of the Hasidic Jews said, quote, "I think students all over the country, sometimes they get a little bit naive. I don't really think there was any kind of criminal intent." Creepy shit in the woods. On October 3rd, 2016, a rather disturbing video was uploaded to the YouTube channel Dateline 420, titled Creepy Shit in the Woods, Part 1 of 2. In this upload, a man holding a video camera is trekking through a densely wooded area near a public park in Huntington, New York, when suddenly he comes across an extremely unsettling find. As he was investigating what he thought was an old fire pit, he came across a makeshift collage of missing persons posters attached to trees within the vicinity.
But I saw what looked like a fire pit, and since I've already found one back the way I came, and it was just made by neighborhood kids. Anyway, I'll cut right to the chase because I might die. Look what these fucking are.
All of the missing persons posters were of completely different people from different states around America. The posters featured missing men, women, teenagers, and children.
We got this one. And this obviously, these, you could tell, these aren't new. Like, not just that this is 2012, Noblesville, Indiana. Right? Look at the fucking tape. Look at the water damage. These shits have been hanging up for a while.
It was a pretty freaky scene to stumble upon. Could this have been the old campsite of a serial killer and these posters a mockery of his victims?
You gotta understand, if that is somebody's property, and I'm pretty sure that it is, considering you can hear the traffic coming from that direction, considering this is the side of the woods where people's property be at. Like, this is bad.
One of the most chilling segments of the video involves him moving back a bit to show all of the posters in one shot, in a scene that resembles something out of a found footage horror flick.
Let me just, look at that. These are just the ones that I did close-ups of.
Another creepy observation made by the hiker was what appears to be the remains of a ramshackle cage crafted from logs that laid off to the side of the abandoned campsite.
Or this. Holy shit, I just realized what I'm looking at. The video's not doing it justice, but this bundle of sticks, they're lashed together. That's a cage of some kind, or a hut, or a lean-to or something.
As the man takes a second look at some of the missing persons posters, he hears voices in the distance and attempts to quickly get away from the area, which turns into a Blair Witch Project scene of sorts.
Stacy Peterson, 23 years old, missing from Illinois, 2007. Oh shit, I heard voices. We have to get the fuck out of here.
The video then ends as the man slowly backs away from the area. But on the same day of this video being published, a part 2 would be uploaded. In this video, we find the shaken up man decided to return to the harrowing campsite in the woods. He explained that his second trip would be brief, going back only so he could geotag the location and save it to his phone, for the purpose of finding it later if an investigation was needed.
I'm not going back there to go back there. I'm going back there because I want to get it geotagged on my phone.
As the hiker marked his location using his phone, he again studied the missing posters and the fire pit, and upon closer inspection of the area, made yet another creepy observation, spotting a shovel. Perhaps it was used to bury a body or something. Before leaving, he snagged one of the posters, hoping that there would be fingerprints left on it that could identify the person responsible for this haunting campsite. Shortly after Dateline 420 posted these videos, they started garnering attention, with many in the YouTube comments being disturbed by the presence of the posters. Theories in the comments swirled, with many trying to explain the camp's existence. Everything from a serial killer camp to kidnappers turned cannibals were ideas that people suggested. Or cannibals. Dude, be safe, stay away from these places, or put a hidden camera to catch these mofos. Damn. Well, some elites have large lands in the woods with underground halls. They steal people and use them in sexual and satanic rituals. Look it up. They have professionals who bring people up to them and get paid well. Tranquilizer prop. You get hit, next thing you know, you wake up in some dark place, they bring you out, and it's hell on earth. While theories like this are interesting, it's important to consider the possibility of the campsite being a hoax set up by Dateline himself in an effort to go viral. What was the story behind the freaky campsite and the missing posters? What was going on? After his videos went viral, Dateline 420 would later be identified as New York hiker James Rankin. Shortly after publishing his videos, James reported all of his findings to the authorities, who would become involved in investigating the matter. This action essentially ruled out that James was the person behind this, and he really did actually stumble upon this freaky shit in the woods. In the comments section of a re-uploaded version of his video on Facebook, James would confirm that he talked to detectives. I've spoken with a detective and showed them the videos. They agree this is creepy, if not suspicious, and will be investigating. As the videos continue to go viral, media outlets reported on the story. They would find that the missing person posters actually featured the names and likenesses of real missing people, and would also confirm that there was not only a police investigation, but that the property on which the missing persons posters were found was adjacent to the park, and was being searched by authorities, and its owners questioned. And what they discovered both answered questions regarding the matter while simultaneously creating completely new ones. After speaking with police, James would post an update. Homeowner of the adjacent property is claiming this was set up for a Halloween party and that it would be taken down after Halloween. They are not investigating further. Some initially disputed James's claim, but the facts of the matter would later be confirmed by police. Now, this brings up the question of how ethical it is to have a Halloween party where real missing posters of actual missing people are used as nothing more than novelty props. If you're asking me, it's pretty fucked up. James himself was even somewhat disturbed by the finding. Gotta wonder just what sort of person thinks it's okay to use real missing persons posters of people's lost loved ones as party decor. The saddest part of this story was that some of the families connected to the people missing from the posters were actually notified during the investigation, with these families perhaps being given a sense of false hope that a new lead had been found in regard to what happened to their missing relatives, only to later find that it was actually a dead end and their lost loved one was being used as a party prop. That's some pretty dark stuff, man. One commenter who was apparently connected to one of the missing persons wrote, "I don't know who you are or why you posted the video of missing persons, but I am Derek Seehausen's brother's girlfriend. Derek's poster is approximately 3 minutes and 20 seconds into your video. Derek's family and close friends have now been receiving links to this video via our tip site. When you posted the video, you may not have considered the enormous loss experienced by those who knew individuals in these posters. These are real people with real families who have experienced years of tremendous grief. These tragic stories should not be used for the entertainment of others." In the aftermath of the incident, James would venture near the campsite area again to see if any changes had been made to it since his videos went viral. The man reveals that since the last time he was there, the property owners had printed out multiple no trespassing signs to alert any onlookers. He was also notified that the missing persons posters were taken down. However, he couldn't get close enough to confirm for himself. YouTube's mysterious acting videos. Now I'd like to explain a set of videos that have baffled the YouTube community for over a decade now. 5 or 6 stores and the various bizarre acting videos associated with it.
You could stop at 5 or 6 stores, or just one.
Initially going viral on YouTube in 2013 thanks to re-uploads by a YouTuber named Josh, these videos were a collection of what many believe to be actor reels or botched audition tapes from decades ago, found by someone and haplessly re-uploaded to the web.
I can see the Statue of Liberty from here.
The clips were edited together in this out-of-context style and the performances are uncanny to say the least.
John, I want a divorce.
Divorce.
Joe Banks, 82 years young, has come to this pond for the last 17 years to feed the ducks.
It wouldn't be long before people on sites like Reddit started theory crafting in regard to who was behind these videos, attempting to find the truth behind the origin. Where did they come from? What were they filmed for? And who recorded them? While 5 or 6 stores and its related videos first went viral in the early 2010s, their origins on YouTube actually date back much further. Originally being posted to YouTube in 2006 to a YouTube channel called Acting Class Sarantos. Now, when looking at who was behind this channel, we find that it was created by an acting coach named Ted Sarantos, who was based out of Chicago. When you look through this page, things start to make a bit more sense. These clips weren't forgotten outtakes from some sort of commercial. They were practice routines from the acting classes that Mr. Sarantos actually taught. The man operated an acting company, Sarantos Studios, which was established all the way back in the 1980s. Mr. Sarantos served 4 years in the US Army and started working in film production in the early 60s, and then began instructing actors later in that decade. After getting his chops in, the man officially formed Sarantos Studios in 1980.
Everyone, from doctors to people who, work with their hands, want to be more comfortable whatever it is that they're doing. Everyone who is petrified at the beginning, I would say, gets to the point where they are really happy with getting on stage or getting in front of a group, even at work, and enjoying it, which they never thought that they would do.
Using the Wayback Machine, one can find archives from Ted Sarantos' acting website dating all the way back to 2003. And this website showcases that Ted didn't only just offer classes for established actors, he offered classes to people within the everyday workforce who wanted to build confidence and grow their talent in public speaking. Which makes sense why a lot of the footage is awkward, because many of the people in these clips are complete rookies getting into acting for the first time. And although a lot of the actors seem stiff at first, Ted was actually a very gifted acting coach. As looking at videos on his channel, you can see that he can take a complete amateur, starting them off doing a cold read, and have them reciting words for commercials in extremely short time and being convincing at it.
Are you ready?
Yes, whenever you like.
Meat Protein Plus. The Muscle Energy Bar.
Okay, you're greatly dissipating your energy by being so concerned with the script.
Meat Protein Plus. The Muscle Energy Bar. It's
okay, now, that was pretty good. The gesture was brought at the same time the script came up, and so you're not selling the product with that.
All right. Meat Protein Plus. The Muscle Energy Bar.
It needs definition. The product is important, so you present it.
Meat Protein Plus. The Muscle Energy Bar.
So what is Sarantos doing now? As of 2022, the website is no longer up, though I did find evidence of Sarantos advertising Zoom lessons for acting in 2021. While I never got in touch with Mr. Sarantos himself, back in 2022, I actually got in touch with 2 of the actors that are featured in these acting videos. Those individuals being Sandy Gulliver and Harold Dennis. Sandy revealed to me that Mr. Sarantos was actually aware of the viral nature of his videos. And Harold Dennis told me a bit more context about the whole Sarantos studio. From what I remember, he said he started acting and decided that teaching it worked out for him around 55 years ago. I started training with him in January of 2004. His studio was on North Halstead Street, where that link you sent me was taped. He's referring to 5 or 6 stores. It was recorded there. During the COVID shutdown, he closed the school and we held virtual weekly classes on Zoom up until the first weekend in this past January. Classes are done. Harold Dennis continues to teach what he has learned from Ted Sarantos. However, Ted himself has retired. In my last video discussing Sarantos Studios, I was informed that Mr. Sarantos wasn't in the greatest of health. Thankfully though, as of October of 2023, according to Harold, it seems he's still kicking. A post around this time says, "Today I spent a couple of hours with a mentor of mine, Ted Sarantos. He is retired due to health issues. It's difficult for him to hold thoughts and get what he wants to say out. I spent my Wednesdays training with him for 18 years. In the beginning, Ted offered me a scholarship in late 2003. I accepted it and began my studies with him on January 7, 2004. He said to me, 3 hours of study, 3 hours of work. So for the first 10 years, I went that way. I finally figured out how to clean faster. Anyway, he's not doing so well now. I had the chance to sit with him and talk. We talked about techniques, also about what's happening with me, personally and professionally, just like the old times. We talked about what he's going through now. I showed him the 15-minute viral video about him in Sorrento Studios that's showing on YouTube. It made him smile. Before leaving, he said in the best way he could that he's proud of me, and with a gleam in his eyes, he raised his frail arms in the air and waved them sporadically and while smiling at me. He was saying, "Go for it," magically. I kissed him on his forehead and exited. I gotta say, it's really cool to know that Ted actually got to see my video that I made about him a couple of years ago. And closing this chapter out, I just want to give a big shout out to Harold and Sandy for their contributions to that first project, as it really meant a lot. And as of just 4 months ago, Harold Dennis posted on his LinkedIn another update with Ted. A mentor and acting teacher for 18 years of mine, Ted Sorrentos of Sorrento Studios for acting. I visited him yesterday, and he, as always, wanted to hear about my career. Then we chatted about his health, and we spent the remainder of the time talking techniques. From what I understand, although Ted's health is ailing, he's still kicking and is much beloved by the acting community in Chicago and should be protected at all costs.
Jesus Christ is a
One of the most infamous viral music videos in YouTube history is without a doubt Rappin' for Jesus.
I preach the word, that's my gig, and I rhyme better than Notorious Big. All the other MCs, I wish them well, but if you live in sin, you burn in hell.
Rappin' for Jesus is a seemingly found footage rap video created by a misguided church ministry group, most notable for a line uttered by the church's would-be pastor, Jim Kolaric.
My rhymes are fly, my beats are sick, my crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's 'cause Jesus Christ is my God.
What's the story behind Rappin' for Jesus? Some of you watching may have already seen my previous video talking about this subject. But don't click off, because there are some huge updates I have to provide, including the identities of the actors behind this infamous rap. Rappin' for Jesus was uploaded to YouTube on February 5th of 2013, posted to a channel called Brian Spinney. The video looked dated and appeared to have likely been recorded in the late 90s or early 2000s. Everything about this music video is just off, appearing as if some elder members of a church were trying to get younger people involved in their service. So in an effort to do so, they unwittingly created this corny rap song to connect with the younger folks, crafting some unintentionally hilarious and cringeworthy bars in the process.
Jesus Christ is my name. He's the son of the original G. And he was sent to earth to elucidate the way that we should be. What?
It's almost too good to be true. So the question is, was this really a church youth outreach program campaign gone wrong, or was something else at play? A search for the truth behind Rappin' for Jesus begins with an analysis of Brian Spinney, the uploader's channel. The About section of Spinney's YouTube page says, "Proud father of two, loving husband, and a devoted Christian, Iowa born and raised." Perhaps Spinney was a member of the West Dubuque Church and was the producer of the video. The sentiment is echoed under Rappin' for Jesus' description. Spinney writes, "I helped my pastor make this music video when I was in high school. Thought you guys might get a kick out of it. May the Lord bless and keep you." This description seemingly confirms that the video was much older than its YouTube upload date of January 5th, 2013 suggests. Now let's take a closer look at the video itself for any clues. The West Dubuque Second Church of Christ is shown to be the church that all involved belong to, and we're trying to promote. Introductory credits also reveal the supposed identities of the two main performers in the song, those being Pastor Jim Kolaric and his beloved rapping wife, Mary Sue Kolaric. A seemingly believable narrative, but the Rappin' for Jesus rabbit hole truly opens up when you reach the end of the video itself. After the song wraps up, text appears on screen, inviting the viewer to join the church's youth outreach program, and a link is displayed, westdubukesecondchurchofchrist.org. And when this link is typed in, it does actually work, and you're taken to what appears to be the church's actual website. On the web page, a message from Pastor Jim can be seen thanking the visitor. Other than that, the site seems somewhat incomplete. The only other real area of note is the site's news section, which hasn't been updated since June 15th of 2004. The last message written on the website read as follows: "Sadly, our church has closed its doors. It's been an honor and a privilege to bring Christ's message to the West Dubuque community for all these years. May the Lord bless you and keep you always, dear friends." So, case closed? Rapping for Jesus was just some bizarre, misguided project created by Jim, Mary, and Brian for their church that had long closed down? And the footage was just like uploaded years later by Brian in 2013? As hilarious as this thought might be, the truth behind this video is almost as fascinating as the video itself. So, if you step back and take a critical look at this video, the website, the entire package really, there are certain elements that just don't make sense. First off, there is no and has never been a West Dubuque Second Church of Christ in Iowa. It's a fake church, a stock image, never existed, never closed down. The website lied to you. If you enter the church's website URL into a domain registry checker online, you'll find that the website was actually created January 15th of 2013, not in 2004 or before that. Also important to note that January 15th, 2013 is pretty close to the upload date of Rappin' for Jesus. Pretty sus. Another supplemental piece of evidence in proving that this is a hoax is something I actually found myself several years ago when researching Rappin' for Jesus. In the video, you'll find this segment where a stock photo is used in the background during one of the scenes. I actually found out through reverse image searching this stock image that it wasn't available on the internet until at least 2010. So how would these guys have this particular photo if their production was made in the late 90s or early 2000s? This fake website, along with the inconsistencies of the video, it's pretty clear that this was all a big hoax. And this Brian Spinney person, whoever that is behind all of it. Important to note, Brian Spinney, abbreviated, it's BS. Like bullshit. Appears Brian Spinney purposely crafted the site and the music video to seem dated intentionally to make it believable. So what about the performers, though? Now, when it comes to Pastor Jim Kolarick and his wife Mary Sue Kolarick, their names simply cannot be found anywhere. Facebook, white pages, obituaries, you name it. No online record of these individuals exists. These were most definitely fake names, and these individuals were in on Brian Spinney's joke. I mean, the woman's name is Mary Sue. Like, let's get real. With all this information in mind, it makes it 100% clear that Rappin' for Jesus was most certainly a hoax music video project intentionally designed to go viral. And it was quite effective in that regard. This is the conclusion that I reached the last time I discussed Rappin' for Jesus here on the channel. But there were some dead ends that I wanted solved that I simply couldn't at the time. The biggest of which were, who are the actors behind Pastor Jim and Mary Sue Kolarick? Well, thankfully, I'm happy to report that this element of the mystery has finally been solved. Shortly after publishing my original video in 2019, I was actually tipped off privately in regard to these identities, but at the time I decided not to go public with them, wanting to wait for further confirmation. However, it looks like the cat is out of the bag and internet users have pieced together the puzzle. An IMDb page has correctly attributed the actors, Patrick J. Wagaman as playing Pastor Jim Kolarick and actress Elizabeth Ince as playing Mary Sue Kolarick. Patrick J. Wagaman was a relatively obscure theater actor from St. Louis, Missouri, who doesn't have much, if any, involvement in large-scale productions. It would be accurate to say that his most notable performance was indeed Rappin' for Jesus. Sadly, Patrick Wagaman passed away a few years ago in 2021. But we can learn a bit about this man's life through his obituary, which has been shared online. Patrick grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois, and was raised by loving parents in a large family with 3 brothers. Patrick graduated from Southern Illinois University. He married June Osborne on August 7, 1970. Patrick was a man of many talents, ambitions, and goals. He lived a great life, accomplishing so much, including raising a family. He flourished in a range of careers: cook, real estate, paralegal, and advertising sales. Upon retirement, he pursued his true passion as an artist/actor in music, film, and theater. He became well known for his acting in Rappin' for Jesus, as well as many other roles and one-man plays in a local theater. Patrick was vice president of the Lions Club and continually devoted time and money to various charities. He was most recently recognized by local officials for his support of Blue Lives Matter. So what about the pastor's wife, Mary Sue, aka Elizabeth Ince? Well, clicking on her IMDb page gives you a long list of credits for close to 40 performances dating all the way back to 1989. Some of these credits include Demon Wind, The Michael Jackson Trial, Nip Tuck, Mad Men, Days of Our Lives, and in 2021, a film called Superheroes, the movie. She even has her own demo reel that's been uploaded to IMDb. My personal favorite role she was in was a Trojan condoms commercial.
Mom, Dad, I'm going to planet Venus.
So there you have it. 100% Rappin' for Jesus was indeed fake, and we've also got confirmation on who played the characters. Rest in peace, Pastor Jim Kolarek, or Patrick Wagaman. The only remaining mystery in the Rappin' for Jesus story is the identity of the video's creator, Brian Spinney. I do have a theory, albeit one backed entirely by nothing but a vibe I'm getting. Obviously, Brian Spinney is a creative alias, which I think might just stand for bullshit, BS bullshit. Many have noticed similarities in Rappin' for Jesus to another massively popular viral video that is quite similar in style and execution, the Sex Offender Shuffle.
State of Florida has asked us to disclose our sexual crimes to you. We were bad, but now we're good. Moving into your neighborhood. You know we're trying our best to be functioning members of society. We're not here to start no trouble. We're legally required to do the Sex Offender Shuffle.
Unlike Rappin' for Jesus, the Sex Offender Shuffle's creator is actually known. That creator being Scott Gardner, who is actually somewhat successful in the television industry and as a comedy writer. While Scott has never claimed to be responsible for Rappin' for Jesus, I could see him being a good candidate for Brian Spinney. If he did make this, perhaps he's preferring to stay anonymous in regard to it because of the N-bomb that's in it. I've got no concrete proof of this other than the striking similarities of the video's production quality, but I thought I'd just throw that theory out there. And well, you made it to the end. Let me know what you guys thought about this video down below in the comments section, and let me know who or what you want me to talk about next. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.